Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show, and welcome to another episode of what I'm calling Commander's Quarters Uncut, but this one is a deck tech episode, so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to, name it, but yeah, hopefully on these episodes where I just turn the camera on and just start talking, I don't make too many mistakes, or, blab on a bit too much like I'm doing right now, or stumble over my words, all the things. Anyways, today's episode is on losing your friends for $14. Now, why would you want to do that? I'm not exactly sure. You should probably be asking yourself that question, but yeah, it seems like many of you out there seem to really enjoy these kinds of episodes, and they're really fun to make. So yeah, let's jump into it. So now, when I chose the commander for this episode, I had actually a couple of good options, but the one that really stood out to me was Atlaplani Nest Tender, because it's just 28 cents right now with a recent reprint. Pay 2 tap, you make a 0/1 egg. When that egg dies, you reveal cards to the top of your library into a creature card. That card goes on the battlefield, the rest come bottom of your library in random order. Yeah, basically, again, many Atlaplani decks out there, get a lot of eggs into play, crack them essentially, and then, well, get some giant, massive things. Maybe some Eldrazi, some massive creatures, some giant threats. Now, that's not exactly the direction we're going to be doing for this episode, though. This episode, and actually the title of the tactic that I named for this one is actually Ender of Friendships, because this deck is built around one very specific creature. In fact, there's only one creature in the deck, and that is Realm Razor, a 4/2 beast that when it enters the battlefield, you remove all lands from the game, you exile all lands essentially. When it leaves play, you get all those lands back, or all those lands come back tapped on their own control. So essentially, it's kind of like technically not mass land destruction, but basically mass land destruction. It's mass land temporary exile, so you get rid of everyone's lands until this goes away. Now, sure, your opponents might try to get rid of it. You've got plenty of ways to protect it, though, and actually, you've got ways to say, you know what? Let's actually do this again. Let's get that ETB again, because maybe, again, your opponents say maybe had 5 lands when this first happened, and their lands go away, but then they had some turns where they put more lands into play. Well, you wouldn't really want them to be, having lands, so let's get rid of it again. And so, yeah, basically the entire goal of this deck is, well, just to keep getting rid of your opponent's lands again and again and again. It's resource denial. It's quite obnoxious, and again, there's a reason why I called it, Lose Your Friends for $14. Now, I probably should have mentioned before this, do not just buy this deck and play it with your friend group if they're not okay with decks like this. Do not just try to surprise people with it. That's not nice. So yeah, again, ask first, and then, yeah, yes, you may play it after you ask your friends if they're okay with a deck like this. When it comes to ramp for this deck, we've got a ton of ramp, and actually, again, with the vast majority of green decks out there, they depend on, or they heavily utilize, I should say, land ramp, like, rampant growth. This deck does not, because again, our goal is to get rid of lands. So ramping with lands, not exactly the best idea. And again, if your friends, if your opponents have, green, they're probably, ramping up those rampant growth type effects to get lands into play. And now they're actually going to be punished for that. And actually, if they are running Mana Rocks, they'll be punished for that too. And we'll talk about those ways here in a bit. But yeah, we're running a ton of Mana Rocks in this deck. A lot of very efficient Mana Rocks. A lot under 2, actually. So we can actually get Atlaplani out, hopefully, on turn 3 to get things going. But yeah, Everflowing Chalice is a very flexible one. Basically gives you half the amount of mana back that you put into it. We're running our Signets. We're running one of the Talismans. We got Ebony Fly and Guardian Idol. Probably should have mentioned as well, this deck really doesn't really have a win con, let's say. And again, that's kind of another thing where this deck is kind of even more annoying because of that. It's going to make you lose your friends quicker because you don't have a way to win with it. I guess it'll take longer to actually end the game, but then your friends will just leave you forever and never talk to you again. But yeah, basically, yeah, attack your friends with, these Mana Rocks to win, or, your Realm Razor, your 4/2. It's going to take quite some time to do that and take them out. Liquid Metal Torque, a great card in this deck. Tap, target non-land permanent becomes an artifact to other types until end of turn. Basically, again, we're going to have a lot of artifact removal in this deck that we'll get to here in a bit, because we want to deny our opponents of resources, including Mana Rocks. And Liquid Metal Torque can take advantage of those, destroy artifact spells by basically making anything a Mana Rock. We're going to be running Diamonds, Obsidian Obelisk, Prismatic Lens, which can filter a mana. Mind Stone, can draw a card if we need to. You find a Cursed Idol, I believe, is actually the only non-mana rock ramp spell in the deck. Temporary ramp. Can create a treasure token when you venture in the dungeon, or destroy target artifact. Again, talked about artifact removal. or destroy target enchantment. So yeah, we can get rid of our opponents, again, lands with Realm Razor. We can also deny them of their mana rocks with, cards like this to essentially say, no. We're the only one who gets access to mana with this kind of game. Coalition Relic, a very efficient mana rock at 3. Tap us for 1, or we can tap and essentially store a mana up to, for the next turn, essentially. So it can tap for 2, essentially. Commander Sphere, sacrifice to draw. Component Pouch can also kind of store up mana in a way. Fire, Wild, Border Post, and Wild Field Border Post, again, tripping over my words. Pay 1, return a basic land you control back to your hand rather than pay its cost. So yeah, you can essentially cast this for just a single mana, get a land back in your hand, which is, again, a good thing. So that essentially, yeah, again, when Realm Razor goes off, you have that land to essentially, play later as a resource. Mana Geode, Scries comes into play. Replicating Ring. This is one that does take some time to actually build up, but again, we've got all the time in the world with this kind of a strategy, essentially. Again, once we get things going, our opponents are going to be going incredibly slow, if not going nowhere at all. And so Replicating Ring, we get basically, 8 counters on it, 1 each upkeep. Once we get 8 counters on it, we get to remove those and get 8 more artifacts that can tap for mana. So yeah, really rub it into our opponent's faces with how much mana we have when they have none. Speaking of which, Victory Chimes can tap for 1 mana every single turn, including our opponent's turns. So this can help us with instants. It can also help us with, At Laplani's ability. Firemind Vessel, very efficient. 4 mana, enters the battlefield, taps for 2 mana, different colors. Again, we've got a ton of mana rocks in this deck, plenty of ways to ramp, plenty of ways to stay ahead of our opponents, and yeah, we don't really care about losing all of our lands, but they very much do. Next up, we've got Crack the Egg as our next tactic. Again, our egg is a 0/1 defender. We cannot swing at someone, and they probably wouldn't block it anyway. It's a 0 power creature. But yeah, we need to make sure that, well, if our opponents choose not to swing at us because they might be worried about what we're going to hit with it, we've got ways to actually crack that egg ourselves. Wrath's Edge, we can tap, pay for a tap, sacrifice a land, do 1 damage to our creature or player. Yeah, we are completely fine with losing a land because they don't really matter in this kind of a game with this kind of a strategy. So yeah, we'll take out that egg. Deface is a funny one. Destroy an artifact for target creature or defender. So again, this one can be, again, mana rock removal essentially, or again, our egg does have defender. We can take it out with that. Mishra's Command, very flexible. Basically can have us draw or discard to draw. Deal 1 damage to a creature. We just pay 1 into that, so we can take out that egg, or we can pay more into it, take out opponent's creatures. Take out planeswalkers, give haste. You can do a lot of things. Rile, 1 damage to a creature, and we draw a card. So yeah, just 1 damage is all we need to take out that egg. Braid, 3 damage, destroy target artifact, very flexible. Cathartic Pyre, 3 damage again. Discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards. So again, potential card selection if we need it, or again, being able to take out a creature or planeswalker, or yeah, just our egg. Go for blood. We can have our egg fight something. Great. Target creature you control fights our creature you don't control. We can cycle it away. Kabir Takedown and MDFC that can help us out. It's going to deal damage to a number of creatures we control, target creature or planeswalker. Rip Apart, 3 damage target creature, player, planeswalker. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. So again, either mana rock removal or again egg removal essentially. Slight Malfunction, destroy target artifact or roll a 6-sided die. Basically 1 damage. To any number of targets based on that. Yeah, we just need 1, essentially, to be able to take out our egg, so that's huge. Kazul's Fury, another MDFC, we can, sacrifice our egg and additional cost to cast a spell, we have to sacrifice something, so sure, sacrifice the egg, get that trigger. Naya Charm, 3 damage, return a card back to your hand, regrowth, essentially. Tap all creature target player controls. This can help out in a lot of situations, but yeah, just, inherently, hey, get rid of an egg. Start from scratch, deal 1 damage to any target, destroy target artifact, so again, take out an egg, also take out an opponent's mana rock to really set ourselves up, for that big realm raising play. Chain Reaction, speaking of which, deals X damage to each creature, X number of creatures on the battlefield. This can be a great way to not only crack our egg, but also every other creature on the board, essentially. So take out all the creatures, we get that trigger, we get Realm Razor in play after that, and basically the board is cleared. Except for our Realm Razor. Fateful Showdown and all of our mana rocks. Deals damage to target creature or player equal to number of cards in your hand. Discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. So yeah, it can be a great way to essentially, replace our hand if we need to, and also take out a creature, or yeah, our egg. Lower Hold Command, very flexible. We can make a spirit, sure. Creature control, get +1/+0 and gain haste and indestructible until end of turn. Great way to protect our Realm Razor if it's already in play. Deal 3 damage to any target. Target player gains 3 life. Yeah, we can take out our egg with that, or another creature. Sacrifice a permanent. Yep, take out our egg. Draw 2 cards. Austere Command, very flexible. Draw artifacts, draw enchantments, draw creatures with mana value 3 or less, draw creatures with mana value 4 or greater. Can help us whether or not Realm Razor is already in play. Can help us whether or not our egg's in play. Just very flexible. Can help out in a lot of situations. Fast, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Furious, deals 3 damage to each creature without flying. Our egg does not have flying, so we can take out that with this. Race again is our next category. Yeah, again, like I mentioned, we're not just going to realm raise once. We're going to realm raise many times, because if our opponents try to get more and more lands into play after we've already taken all the lands, we say, no. You are not getting any lands into play. They are going to go away again. So yeah, basically any of these blink effects like, Cloud Shift, exile target creature you control, returns the battlefield under your control. That is going to really help us out, and again, if our opponents try to actually take out Realm Razor, these can be great ways to protect it as well. So yeah, very simply, we have a ton of blink spells in this deck. We'll just quickly go over them. Voyager Staff, Flicker of Fate, Jeskar's Portal, Liberate, Long Road Home, Otherworldly Journey, Acrobatic Maneuver, which also is a card when we do so, Astral Drift, also basically if you cycle it away, Far Traveler, a background basically that gives our commander the ability to blink a creature at the end of the turn. So yeah, we can just repeatedly blink Realm Razor and just make our opponent's lands just stay away forever. Golden Argosy, kind of in a similar way. If we keep crewing it with our Realm Razor, we keep blinking it. Oblation is a not a blink card, but one that can help out and act kind of in a somewhat similar way. The owner of target non-land permanent shuffles in our library, then draws 2 cards. This can be removal if we need it. Or if an opponent's trying to get rid of our Realm Razor, too bad. We put it back in our library. Again, we crack another egg, we get it back out, and we drew some cards in the process. And if Realm Razor is dealt with, our opponents will probably celebrate and be like, yes, now we can play Magic. And we're like, no. Breath of Life. Return to our creature card from your graveyard to play. Resurrection is the exact same thing. Late to dinner, exact same thing, but we also get a food. Basically, no, we're just going to get it back into play. So good luck. Goodbye to all your lands again. It comes to card advantage selection. We talked about a lot of these cards already. Try to find some cards that we didn't talk about. Dissenter's Deliverance. That's also artifact removal as well. So again, get rid of mana rocks. That can be very helpful. I think we've talked about pretty much all the other ones, but yeah, having cards that are flexible that can work in multiple ways in this deck can be really helpful. Removal, again, like I talked about, getting rid of our opponent's lands is huge, but also getting rid of their mana rocks, any of their other, just resources that are just sticking around is going to be massive as well. So yeah, Builder's Bane is one we haven't talked about yet. XX in red, destroy X target artifacts. Again, on the turn that we actually get Realm Razor out, we can spend a very, small amount of mana to, essentially crack that egg. We've got, things like Ryle, just one singular mana. The rest of it we can dump into something like this, with all the mana rocks that we have as well, to essentially just get rid of, all of our opponent's mana rocks and make sure that we are the only one that has any resources. We've talked about a lot of other ones. Shenanigans, one that we haven't talked about yet, destroy target artifact or dredge 1. Or dredge 1. We can dredge 1 as well to actually get this back. So yeah, Shenanigans is just a really good name for a card, especially in a deck like this. Just keep getting it back to just keep destroying things. You find some prisoners. Short target artifact, exile the top 3 cards to our opponent's library. Basically, impulse draw off the opponent's library. So yeah, both are going to be very, very effective for us in this kind of a deck. Divine Reckoning, again, this deck at a certain point only cares about 1 creature. If we actually need to crack the egg, we can utilize this to say, okay, at Laplani, you stay in play. Each player choose a creature they control to destroy the rest. Our egg, you're gone. So we actually get that trigger with this. We can flash it back as well to help us, restabilize essentially. And Realm Razor, of course, can be a great target for this as well, saying, hey, we only care about keeping this in play. Goodbye, essentially everything else. When it comes to protection, aside from all the blink spells, we talked about all those, we've got a ton. Blacksmith Skill is a great card as well. Target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible on turn. Lawrence Escape, very similar. Target artifact or creature gains hexproof and indestructible on turn. Scry 1. Again, great ways to keep Realm Razor in play when our opponents might be trying to take it out. And actually, this reminded me, I think I forgot to talk about Graceful Reprieve really quick. When target creature dies this turn, return that card to the battlefield under its control. So if an opponent tries to take out Realm Razor, we've got a way to get back as well. So yeah, basically all of this is pretty much protection as well up there. Finally, we talked about the non-land cards in this deck, so let's talk about the lands that we haven't talked about. We've already talked about these 3. And yeah, with this kind of a budget, at just $14, yeah, we're going to be running a lot of basic lands. So 10 forests, 11 mountains, 11 plains. Basically, the goal again is just get a couple lands out, ramp, especially on turn 2 would be great. Get Laplani out, get an egg out, crack it, have fun. Or you could even kind of leave that egg out for a little bit and crack it when you feel it is right. When your opponents have, ramped a couple of times, gotten a couple lands in play, and you're ready to actually just decimate them, ruin their hopes and dreams, and again, lose some friends. Now, though, that we've talked about every single card in this segment of lands, let's talk about the price. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, and throughout the episode, yeah, this is a $14 deck essentially, right? The estimated cost for the deck is just $14.54. So yeah, having a very budget-friendly commander and a budget-friendly, friend ender with Realm Raiser really helps, with the focus of the deck. And there's a lot of budget-friendly cards in this, so yeah, you can lose your friends even on the smallest of budgets. Keep in mind that estimated cost does include basic lands at 10 cents a piece, so there might be some extra savings there for you if you already have those. And also, the estimated cost, they might have some extra potential savings by buying this deck on TCG Player and utilizing heavily played and damaged cards, which of course need a home too. Do keep in mind that the estimated cost does not include the cost of shipping, which might vary depending upon where you live. Again, I will mention, if your play group and your friends are not okay with decks like this, do not play this deck, okay? Just don't do it. So, yeah, again, there's a reason why I call it Lose Your Friends for $14. Though, I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments on the deck. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this kind of strategy. On Realm Raiser, it's a creature that, many players out there might not know about. And yeah. Give me your comments as well, your thoughts on these kinds of episodes, this kind of approach to talking about cards, how you like the different kind of layout of the tactics, the use of, Moxfield for that. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.